What's up, family? So we got to talk about this little string of events that's looking real funny to me, like real convenient. You ever peep how Democrats, when they start slipping in the public eye or losing momentum, suddenly they turn into the victims of some big bad hate crime? It's like clockwork. Every time they need to get people emotional, people riled up, they pull out that "we are being attacked" card. And I'm not even saying nothing definitive yet. I'm just saying I got questions because now apparently Democrats are under attack, bigotry, hate, all that. And they are throwing those words around heavy right now. And I'm using attack in quotation marks because the timing, the drama, it just don't sit right with me. Like it's too theoretical, too made for TV. So let's get into the examples, right? Because first, as you guys see on the screen, Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman who always got something to say, always got a mic in her hand. She's out here going on a full blown rant about Christy Nome, right? Just popping off like usual. Then out of nowhere, boom, some guy runs up and sprays her. Not punches, not attacks her physically. And look, I don't stand for political violence in no way, shape, or form, but this guy sprays her. And now it's a whole incident. But listen to me, the way they're spinning it, the way the headlines start flowing, the way sympathy is being mass produced, like it's a press release. It all feels like part of a playbook. Like they are running the same play we seen before. So yeah, I'm watching this whole thing unfold with a raised eyebrow. My eyebrows are raised because it just looks so staged to the simple fact is just everybody being shocked didn't seem realistic, right? Everybody is not as shocked or in panic as the way they should be. And Ilhan Omar actually went towards her attacker. I mean, if you're trying to avoid any type of harm, you're going to go away from the attacker. And then you got something sprayed on you. You don't know if it's acid. You don't know if it's bodily harm fluid. You don't know what type of reaction you will get. And she continues to go on with her rant, running into the Victim Olympics, talking about abolish ICE. Which, and in this case, if you abolish ICE, if you don't have no tough and strong national security or no strong borders, then you don't have a country. And I know I sound like Tom Homan, the borders are appointed by Donald Trump, but it's the truth. Everyone knows throughout history, if you don't have a secure border and you just let individuals come in and out of your country, in this case, the United States, as if they were to go in and out your house, you wouldn't have a home, right? You wouldn't be able to call your home a home if people are able to run through it whenever they want. It's the same way with a country. So how can you uphold this standard in regards of the value being upheld within that home? You won't be able to if you got people coming in and out and doing as they please. The same thing with a country for those to be able to embrace the privileges for those servicemen and servicewomen. And shout out to my service people who fought and bled and died for the sacrifice of this country, for the freedoms that all of us Americans and legal migrants be able to enjoy, right? It will all be for nothing. Black and brown folks, white people, all those who fought in war as a soldier on the backs of so much scrutiny, right? So much trauma in the sense of going to war to fight for this country. And this is what we have come to, a woman that's not even a natural born citizen as a congresswoman. And I don't believe in this, just is my opinion. And we having a conversation. Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. But this is so ignorant and so disrespectful for those who sacrifice for this country, the United States of America, for a congresswoman that's not even a natural born citizen in America, coming from Somalia, sitting here as we know that her fraud and her antics is being exposed on how she became the most wealthy in the country. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, within a span of a couple years, is now sitting here about saying abolish ICE and not uphold the national security and the safety of our country, United States, and which so many people bled for. And she's sitting here saying the most anti-American treasonous thing in regards of abolishing ICE and just letting the illegals run rampant while she is an immigrant herself who came into this country and let alone committed fraud on the backs of American taxpayers. It's just disrespectful for those who sacrifice for this country. It's disrespectful to the American taxpayer who go out there and bust their behind. And she sits there and gets rich off the American taxpayer in the name of fraud. I mean, all of this is deflecting and taken away because this ignorant man wants to sit here and do a political violence act, which I believe, in my opinion, is staged. It's so unreal. Nobody was panicking like they were supposed to. Ilhan Omar, it just seemed as though she was embracing the attack instead of going away from it when you don't know what he sprayed on you, right? And then sitting there saying, I'm going to keep on talking. No, because you have ugly individuals like this, and we're going to abolish ICE. Speaking so negative, speaking in a divisive way where it becomes more warlike, as we know that these far left radical Democrat lunatics have gone so far left that they're willing to upend and tear up the country of the United States, this beautiful country, and all those who sacrifice. And I'm gonna keep saying it, being agents of chaos, defending illegals, exhausting resources that American taxpayers work so hard for that they can't even embrace, but it goes to an illegal for free. And then for this woman to sit here and basically trying to create a story and keep looking heroic and coming off as heroic for someone spraying fart spray on her, which comes out, and we'll get to the clip of her actually being sprayed on her was actually apple cider vinegar, but it still doesn't matter. She didn't know what it was, and any real person, they wouldn't continue because they wouldn't know what's on them. They would go get medical attention to make sure they're not at harm. So that's what makes this even look more not urgent or more realistic, but more staged of anything, right? So to me, it looks into this video that she embraces political violence, and we have come so far that law enforcement and law and order in the country is not important, but political theatrics is, to the point of doing this foolishness where this man has done this foolish political act to deflect from her and her fraud antics, disrespecting the American taxpayer. With no further ado, let's check it out.
I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
No, we'll go.
No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked. No,
We will continue. These fucking assholes are not gonna get away
you
with
need
it.
to go get checked. No, you don't know what. No.
And it's so distracting, right? Because they know that Minnesota is hot right now. The fraud is being exposed, and you realize she's popping up more and more. See, pay attention to those who are the loudest, because those who are crying and boohoo, whining and crying and throwing tantrums and saying abolish ICE, they're saying basically in so many words, you're saying get rid of ICE because they're exposing the spot in which I'm committing fraud, in which I became wealthy off of. So let me ramp up and run into the Victim Olympics and make it like I'm being attacked with this stage event, in my opinion, while these individuals sit here and don't even look like they're in real panic to deflect. So I look heroic. So people stand on my side so they can justify getting rid of ICE, which ain't going to work. And the Trump administration should continue to double down because they're exposing the very thing in which I've been doing out of disrespecting the American taxpayer and using taxes to enrich myself in the name of political theater. But if ICE is no longer here, then I can continue fraud because they'll go away and everything will blow over and I can continue to do what I was doing. But now, since they're here, I can't continue to do what I was doing because then it's going to make me more susceptible to be indicted and be held accountable. And she still should be held accountable despite this happening to her. Thank goodness she's safe. I don't condone the political violence, but this is all a distraction. And this fool doesn't even come out to be a conservative, it seems like. It seemed like he was one of hers, one of the far progressive individuals who actually supported Ilhan. So the thing is, You can also say in the same sentence that this was karma. You're sitting there enraging people to inflict harm and obstruct, be agents of chaos and obstruction and impede on investigation to get rid of illegals that shouldn't be in the country United States of America in the first place. And now you get sprayed with fart spray, which comes out to happen to be apple cider vinegar. So can we really be mad for the simple fact of the energy you put out is what you receive back, and you were sitting there inciting violence and enraging people to get emotional to go against law enforcement? Ilhan Omar? Hmm. So let's look at it from another angle, all right? And before we do that, just to go a little bit more, because it's getting wild to me and low key kind of comical, but not in a ha ha funny way. It's more like y'all really think we this dumb way. So Ilhan Omar says, individuals are going to say, oh, it smelled terrible. Like whatever she got sprayed with was rank. Like, I'm just like, yo, was that fart spray off of Amazon? Because that's all I'm thinking of. Right? You know what I'm talking about? That prank bottle people use that smelled like someone just microwaved a diaper. But like I said, it happened to be apple cider vinegar, which I'll show you in a minute. But that's how I looked at it. And this is my first impressions and my authentic opinion. And when I seen this, numerous times, just sat back and looked at it because that's what this whole thing is starting to feel like. Like someone hit her with the juice, the beetle juice. And look, man, this whole attack got clown energy all over it. She out here getting misted with spray, right? And I'm supposed to believe this was kind of some kind of grave political assault because it just smells like bull crap, literally and figuratively. Now and again, if this was real, cool, okay. Maybe the dude who did it was just some rogue weirdo. But at the same time, if we're playing by liberal rules, like I said, ain't this the same type of stuff they defend? The type of behavior they enable, right? When it's done to conservatives. Like when the shoe's on the other foot, they be like, oh, he's not attacking anybody. He's just protesting. He's a legal observer. He's exercising his First Amendment rights. So if that logic applies to everyone, Ilhan just got legally observed with a little splash, right? That's what they always say when it's someone like a conservative speaker getting screamed at or hit with something. Oh, that's just democracy in action. But now suddenly it's World War III because Ilhan Omar got misted with some mystery funk in this case. Like, come on, bro. You got to watch how the media just go and talk about it, and they going to call this a racist hate crime and violent assault and the rise of white supremacy. Even if this dude who sprayed her was just a random nutcase with a stink bottle, it's exaggeration for me. And let's be honest, if someone actually sprays you with stuff that smells bad, I'm not brushing it off and continuing my speech like nothing happened. I'm taking my shirt off. Get off of me. Get off of me. I can't. What is this, bro? I don't know what's on me. Right? I'm going home. I'm filing reports. I'm getting tested for chemical exposure. The whole nine. Dude getting locked up. The whatever I gotta do. Whatever I gotta do. You feel me? But Ilhan just wipes it down. He's pushing. Nah, man, that ain't normal. That ain't normal. That makes me think either it wasn't this serious or she already knew what time it was. But let's look at it from another way.
Christy Nome must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue.
And there you have it, man. And Ilhan Omar, she knows it. And that's why she's doing anything to change the narrative instead of being held accountable and basically confronting her own mess when it comes to her finances. Because folks are asking how her bank account ballooned like that since she stepped into office. So what better way to change the subject, right? Than to suddenly become the victim of a public attack all of a sudden. Everybody stops talking about her net worth and starts crying about racism. This is a classic deflection, bro. This is a classic deflection 101. And I'm just saying, maybe somebody needs to pull up the bank records of the dude who did the spraying. Maybe the dude was paid, a paid actor. We know that they're paying protesters and they're being funded by these activism programs, right? And handing out signs, and they just happen to be right on cue every time an event happened, and they all just swarm one little area. See, if the guy that sprayed the fart spray, which happened to be apple cider vinegar, which I'll show you right now. The guy who happened to spray fart spray and then it happens to be apple cider vinegar, right? What I'm getting at here is if he happened to receive a Sutton Venmo or Zelle or Cash App or whatever you want to call it, right? Um, it's very mind-boggling to me from one of these liberal nonprofits or these billionaire donors because it wouldn't be the first time, right? Something spontaneous turned out to be funded, right? So yeah, Ilhan Omar might be okay physically, but the situation still stinks, in my opinion. And I'm not just talking about the spray, right? Because the fraud, the very thing of her just disrespecting and saying the most anti-American thing of abolishing ICE because her nonsense is getting exposed. And that tells you right there that why wouldn't you not want the safety of Americans? Why wouldn't you not want rapists and child rapists and individuals out there to not be safe from criminals that shouldn't be in our country in the first place? So how can you be a congresswoman and sit there and actually do your duty of service and actually operate as a congresswoman on the behalf of your constituents in Minnesota when you don't even care about the national security of the entire country? And I think individuals who sit there and spew this rhetoric and take on a public official position on the behalf of being paid by taxpayers and should be having the best interest in being pro-American and conserving, reserving and also upholding the American value, let alone appreciation for this country. And if you can't do that, you need to go. You need to not uphold position. And at the end of the day, I don't believe that anyone that wasn't naturally born in this country should be able to be in those seats when it comes to a congresswoman, a congressman, president, you name it, mayor. I don't care. Any public official seat to be American first. Okay.
Now, the assault of Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at a town hall in Minneapolis. Authorities say a man sprayed her with what appears to be apple cider vinegar. It happened just seconds after the Democratic Congresswoman called for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign and urged the abolishment of ICE. Omar's security detail tackling the man to the ground. She says she will not be intimidated. That man is now charged with assault.
There you have it, family. There you have it. So I wanted to show you that. But now let's get to the real deflection. Like this right here is a smoke screen because while everybody's over here crying and about sprays and stinks and victimhood and the real convo, the one that actually matters is getting swept under the rug. And that's Ilhan Omar's money. And that's what this wild thing is really about. Not hate, not bigotry, not some random dude with dollar store apple cider vinegar. Nah, this is about the fact that her net worth is shooting up like a meme stock and nobody can explain where it's all coming from. And look, I ain't got no problem with people getting money. But when you're a public servant, a member of Congress, and your salary ain't even touching high six figures, but your lifestyle and bank account start looking like you just sold a tech startup, yeah, we're allowed to ask questions as American taxpayers. And the Trump administration, say what you want about them. They're looking in the right direction. And they're not getting caught up in a sideshow. They're asking the hard questions as they should on the behalf of American taxpayers, unlike her and her treasonous ways and anti-American behavior. But she could take all that money in the name of fraud and send it back to her country, Somalia. When if she's so great and so anti-American because she don't like that she getting held accountable on the behalf of, out of respect for the American taxpayer dollars and American taxpayers, then you need to go back to Somalia and make your Somalia great again. But my whole point is follow the money because where all this money is coming from, it all comes down to the money. So while she has her husband, Because let's keep it 100. A lot of this cash seems to be flowing in ever since she linked up with her current husband, which we'll read the article in a minute, who has also conveniently happens to be connected to a consulting firm that's eating off her campaigns.
Santa Rosa jumped from a valuation of $15,000 to as much as $5 million a year later. His investment firm skyrocketed from mere dollars in 2023 to as much as $25 million in 2024. The House Oversight Committee is probing Omar. It's part of the investigation studying Minnesota fraud.
We're going to find out. It's not going to be hard to figure out what business he's in and where the money came from. So that's going to be a central part of our entire Minnesota fraud investigation, because she is the leader in Congress, in the district, in the congressional district, where the overwhelming majority of the welfare fraud is taking place.
Omar,
and there you have it,
denies wrongdoing, but has ducked questions on Capitol Hill.
What your response is to the Oversight Committee launching an investigation into your net worth, you and your husband's net worth. They're claiming that it's risen rapidly. What's your response to what they're saying?
Omar holds a town.
Oh, she don't got nothing to say, but she could say abolish ICE. Like ICE is the problem, but she don't even want to take accountability for her own actions in the name of fraud. Ain't that convenient, family? Sit there and hold someone else accountable, in this case, ICE, a whole law enforcement department or agency that is actually funded by American taxpayers and actually doing their job and upholding what is being paid for, unlike you actually frauding and scamming and scheming and plotting to basically tax the American taxpayer up to their eyeballs while you continue to be rich and basically pack up your pockets. But you have nothing to say about that. This shows more of my point of why this whole apple cider vinegar stunt was just another way to move the goalposts instead of focus on what she don't want to answer, as you guys just saw. The ignorance, the audacity. If you can't answer that, as much as you can be all stuck up, breasts is out, flaunting about abolish ICE and they need to get out of Minnesota and the administration is attacking me. You only the one that did it by your own actions. And in this case, defrauding an American taxpayer. Ain't nobody tell you to do that. The Trump administration didn't tell you to do that. American taxpayers definitely damn sure ain't tell you to do that. What a coincidence. This is common sense. But I bet you if it was a Republican or a conservative politician, right, they would be basically going crazy, right? But if it was a Republican or a conservative with a mysteriously rising net worth and a messy web of campaign money tied to their personal life, it would be nonstop coverage. But since it's Ilhan, suddenly we're told it's racist to ask where the money's coming from. Nah, transparency and racist is common sense. So we move on, right, family, to the fact check in regards of why I'm saying that she's not in the high 6 figures plus and above salary as a congresswoman, but her network is shooting up like that.
Have launched new investigations into Ilhan Omar's finances following mounting questions about her skyrocketing assets in the latest financial disclosure reports. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the fact check team, and questions about members of Congress. It's not something new. We've discussed it at length before, but when you make so much money in office, that's going to raise some questions. Who sticks out to you?
Yeah, it's interesting that an official investigation was never launched into Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, because her and her husband's, when she first got into office in 1987, her and her husband reported they had about $610,000 and $785,000 in stocks in their portfolio. That's all according to her disclosure report that was published by Open Secrets. But then within the last 38 years or so, she and her husband have made at least $130 million in stock profits. That's all according to Quiver Quantitative. And they also reported that she's worth now $281 million, including all of her assets.
And Pelosi and Omar, they're not the only ones who have made a lot of money while public servants. Is that fairly common? It seems like it, right?
It really is, yeah. I mean, just looking at the scope of this, back in 2008, Alabama Republican Spencer Baucus, he bet against the market right after a private briefing with the Treasury Secretary and Fed Chair, made lots of money when the stocks fell. Then in early 2020, Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein, she sold off stocks right before the COVID crash, which raised a lot of questions about insider trading and any inside knowledge she might have had. And then more recently in 2025, another Republican sold hospital bonds just weeks after voting for a bill that put those same hospitals at risk.
And in terms of members of Congress and finances, there are bipartisan efforts to crack down. Emma, thank you so much. And for more on this Fact Check Team topic.
And family, I'm fine with Nancy Pelosi doing insider trading and getting insider trader info as long as she publish her moves when it comes to the stock market. Why not, right? So we all can follow and take some advice and, have some guidance. There's plenty of money to go around, right? But if she's not gonna do that in regards of, exposing or being very transparent in her insider trading moves, crack down. I mean, am I wrong, family? Is all money to go around? I mean, if they doing it on the backs of American taxpayers, at least they can do is share the info, right, baby? I mean, come on, baby. Share me the info. Come on, give me. I can make that move. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if I'm tripping, family. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying, and tell me why down in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up, please. It helps out the video, helps out the channel, and it helps crush that YouTube algorithm. Totally free. But anyway, this is the article I wanted to get to. Because when you follow the money, the whole circus act starts falling apart. Let's keep it 100. All this media noise about Ilhan getting attacked ain't nothing but a big old distraction from what's really going on. Like I've been saying this whole video. And that's the fact that her finances look mad suspicious. Like, yo, this ain't no little accounting error. We talking about her financial disclosures showing some mystery winery out in California jumped in from 15 to 50,000 to 5 million in 1 year. Like, bro, what kind of grapes they growing out there that's gold infused? Who buys a struggling winery during the economic downturn and then suddenly the value jumps like it's a tech unicorn? And even crazier, this ain't just her. It's her husband too. Him, Minyat, you remember him, right? The same dude who was her political consultant before he was her man, and now he's conveniently in a business with some guy named William Haler. Both of them are tied to this so-called winery. So let's get into the article, if we may. It says, Phantom Winery, Ilhan Omar's husband in a $5 million valuation riddle. U.S. Rep. Ilhan Omar's financial disclosures have ignited fresh scrutiny after listing a California winery, East Screw LLC, with a value surging from $15,000 to $50,000 in 2023 to $1 million and $5 million in 2024. The asset tied to her husband, Tim Minyat, appears on her May 2025 filing for the prior year, alongside Rose Lake Capital's jump from $1 to $100,000. $1 to $1,000 to $5 million and $25 million. These shifts have prompted calls from probes from President Trump and House Oversight Chairman James Comer amid allegations of investor fraud linked to the operation. Minyat, a former political consultant married to Omar since 2020, co-founded Escrew with longtime partner William Haler. Court records and business filings paint a picture of a venture struggling to produce actual wine. As of February 2024, Escrew held just $650 in its bank account. Wonder where the money went, family. Maybe to Somalia, overseas, back to her hometown, back to her home country. While Haler's related entities had pennies, S Ventures at 5 cents, Rose Lake Capital at $42.44. Rose Lake Inc. at $10. Haler told the Minnesota Reformer Escrew LLC, like many wineries, is living invoice to invoice, sell to sell to stay afloat given the economic conditions of the industry. Winemaker Erica Stancliffe, who collaborated on labels like Blockchain, Overt, and The Devil's Lie, departed in early 2023 after unpaid invoices. She described reserves vanishing abruptly to the Reformer, The company's website, escrew.co, promotes trendy bottles but shows no active sales or operations. Named a hot brand of 2022 by Wine Business Monthly, Escrew's physical presence in Santa Rosa remains unverified beyond filings listing Haler as managing member. And then we got the investor lawsuit exposes high stake promises. In fall 2023, DC restaurateur Naeem Mad sued Mayat and Haler in California, alleging they pocketed his $300,000 investment with false vows of a 200% return, $900,000 in 18 months, plus 10% monthly interest. Mad, stirred by attorney Faisal Gill and Mayat Ali from Keith Ellison. Sound familiar, right? The Attorney General of Minnesota. Campaigns wired funds after promises of turning client provided grapes into profit via Sonoma expertise. Gill donated $1,000 to Omar's 2021 campaign and told the Rhode Island Current, "I trusted Tim. If it was not for Tim, the deal would never have happened." Mahad got his principal back a month late, but no profits. The complaint claims the duo fraudulently misrepresented that Escrew LLC was a legitimate company. Mayat and Haler's response denied wrongdoing, blaming pandemic woes. Their lawyers called fraud suggestions false and defamatory. No settlement details emerged publicly, but Haler defended Wine's upside, quote in quotes. If any investor put X dollars in to allow the company to purchase grapes and return those grapes into bottles of wine that we sold you, we see a 3 or 4x return per the reformer. This echoes broader patterns. South Dakota cannabis growers sued Haler over S Ventures in 2022, claiming he lured $3.54 million with triple return pledges that fizzled. A $1.7 million settlement left $1.2 million unpaid via confession of judgment now litigated in Nebraska. Mayat withdrew from such ventures in early 2022, citing MAGA extremist harassment. Right? So it's mind blowing to me. Let me get this straight. The company's dead broke, had like $650 in account, no wine in stock, no sales, no real physical address you can verify, but somehow on paper it's worth millions. Man, come on with that, man. Come on with that. This is a textbook shell company behavior. And if you ever seen how shady businesses move money around and make things look more legit than they really are, this is exactly how it looks. But when you look at it, because the guy worked within this venture, literally got sued for allegedly scamming a restaurant venture out of $300,000, as we just read, right? With the pitch of a 200% return. So when you look at all of this, right? Because you see how this looks when it comes to Ilhan Omar with this winery listed on her disclosures worth millions more than just what last year. The fraud don't even look accidental at this point. It starts looking like the business model, and it's all connected. Her husband, the campaign money, sketchy wine ventures, even Keith Ellison's name floated in the background, Attorney General of Minnesota. This man was the same man, Keith Ellison, who was in on knowing about the Somalian fraud when it came to the fake daycares. And whistleblowers, they actually retaliated against, knowing that this fraud activity was going on, and brought it to Keith Ellison. And Keith Ellison all like, "Oh, we in this together. We working together, right?" And if you say anything, basically they will retaliate. That's why Governor Tim Walz knew, Mayor Jacob Frey knew. They all knew. Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman in Minnesota, all connected. All need to be held accountable. No ifs, ands, or buts. So when you see this and you think I'm making this up, ask yourself, why did Biden's own administration greenlight the investigation into her in the first place? If this was some partisan hit job, why would Democrats even touch it? That's because even they knew there was smoke here. There's too much sketchy movement with her money, her man, and these fake businesses. ventures to be ignored. So that's why all this she under attack stuff popped up out of nowhere. And it's the perfect cover to paint her in the Victim Olympics when she's getting cornered by actual questions about where all this mystery wealth is coming from. It's strategic, it's calculated, and it's insulting to everybody with common sense. So yeah, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think in regards to this whole thing? But from where I'm standing, the timing, the fake wine company, the financial jumps, the lawsuits, it all adds up to one thing: distraction by design. Stay sharp, spread that peace, love, and positivity. Let the love supersede the hate. Love you guys. Appreciate you for rocking with me. And if you got some value from this video, give this video a big thumbs up. Catch you in the next one. Peace.